So today we're going to be talking about floating and claustrophobia. So it's obviously the question's come up a number of times. It's quite Tina did a very good explanation earlier on with the previous video talking about the pods and their size. But yeah, so this is really to go into it in a little bit more detail, just to look at kind of reasons why people feel that way, and just to allay any fears that any of you may have about the tanks, really. But yes, Tina. So yeah, so we looked at the tank earlier.
Yeah.
And you showed, and you talked about like the size of the tank. Yeah.
I think it's really important to mention the size of the tank because I think people come along and prior to seeing the tank, they think, oh, it's going to be this sort of almost like the MRI scanning kind of type of space, and you just, it's so important for them to see.
Yeah.
It's actually a lot more spacious than that, and it's about choice. I think ultimately that you're in control. You have the option to leave the lid open, but as I said before, we do have many clients who come along and they just feel so comfortable.
Yeah.
I think the comfort level also is about the induction process.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree? Would you?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously people don't. It's difficult to gauge the size of something without seeing it first, because it is a different device that you don't come across every single day. Like, I know in terms of the size, they are pretty big. So I know we had Adam Neal, who's from British Rowing. He's 6'8", 6'9", and he can fit in there. And the same with the width. I think it's about the same size as like a queen size bed.
Yeah.
Technically, you can fit two people in, right? But it's
technically you could fit two people in. However, it is a very individual experience. So we always recommend that it's your float tank, it's your space. Ideally, one person can float very comfortably.
Yeah.
But again, it is funny because you can actually get two people in the float pod, as you and me know very well.
Yeah, and it's I mean it essentially is all about having that comfort, and I guess the biggest thing for people when they float, it's more, I personally think, not all the time, but I'd say a good proportion, maybe 85-90% of the time, it's more about having that control of the environment.
Definitely about control of the environment. And also I think just to know what is expected, hence the reason the induction process is so important. But also we always encourage potential clients or people hoping to book a session to come into the centre. By all means, have a look at the pods. We're not closed off. We're not, we're more than happy to invite you in to just look at the pods, not necessarily book there and then. You can always come back later and book a session. I mean, take for example, this morning we had two clients in who, it was a gift, I believe, and the husband said, his partner wasn't sure because she had so many of these preconceived notions of what it would be like, but he actually encouraged her. As soon as his float session was finished, he encouraged her to come in, and Michael was more than happy to show the room and just explain a bit more about why people would come along and have a session. But immediately, I think she was completely at ease.
Yeah, 100%. I think once like people see it and they're like, we've had similar questions before where people think, I can't swim, or I don't like being inside spaces. It's very interesting that after, because I mean essentially the depth of the water actually is only about 25 centimeters or so deep, so essentially it's the same sort of depth as a bath, so you can sit on the bottom, no problem. And yeah, it's just, I think once people lay back and say they can have music So we give them the option to have music throughout the session. So if they want to have like a little bit of a focus for the first session, it's fine. You don't necessarily need to know how to swim because you're floating, so you're completely supported. So you're not really going anywhere. And I think it's really interesting to see how after a very short period of time, maybe like 10 minutes or so, how comfortable actually people find it. I think it's part of it's getting used to the environment.
100%. And it's interesting, Michael, that you mentioned music, because I think that helps. I think it puts clients at ease and it takes away that nervousness because, like you said, they have something to focus on. So it can be quite helpful to try the music. However, sometimes the silence is a great one to try. But just going back to easing you into the whole session. If you are nervous about feeling that idea in your head of feeling enclosed, and the music can be a very helpful guide.
Yeah, exactly. And I think with the way the pod's designed, because it's more like you're in a cocoon, so it feels like a very safe space, like you're being held in something. Like it's like going back to the womb, I guess, in some respects, and it doesn't. And because you're laid down and you can't really touch the sides, it actually feels a lot bigger as well. But I think part of it as well is not necessarily just about having the controlled aspect, but I think part of it is that people are a bit wary about kind of being in a space by themselves, like not connected to the outside world for like an hour, so not having phones and just kind of being with their own thoughts for a while. It's quite a new experience for a lot of people. Even you think, oh, okay, yeah, but we're always thinking and we have our thoughts, but they always tend to be, disrupted. So like, there's different things, we could be doing with work or with like things at home or just doing our various different jobs and things that we get distracted constantly. So you never actually have a time to process those thoughts. And it's for some people, it's quite a novel thing. And actually, after a while, they do tend to stop thinking. Yeah. I think part of it kind of ties into not necessarily having control over those thoughts or being just like, by themselves as well. I think that plays into it a little bit.
That's a really important point to touch upon. It's almost as if, without meaning to, saying that, oh, I couldn't possibly do that because, I have fear of enclosed spaces or I'm claustrophobic. It almost, you could argue, ties into the fact that there's that also unknown factor of, oh, but I've got to process my thoughts and it's just going to be me and will I be able to let go? And all these other external questions come up. So I don't actually think it's just solely about the fact that I'm going to be feeling claustrophobic. I think there are other factors to consider here, which is why we want you to get the best out of your float sessions. Hence the reason I think it's really important that you and I are having this discussion, and because of the fact that we've had numerous clients come through the door. Yeah,
100%. And there's different things that people can do during, for example, like the first part of the session. So, on occasion, we'll talk to people about focusing on their breathing. And if you find that you're starting to feel a little bit anxious, normally it will start down the gut because, in terms of everything else, our fight or flight function, it's our gut that essentially sends a signal to our brain. So when you start to get a bit nervous, you'll probably end up feeling have butterflies in your stomach and those kind of things. So that's like and then that then signals to your brain and think, oh, okay, feel a little bit anxious. So normally when people start to feel a bit anxious, it normally comes up in like a wave. So it'll start from the gut and then work its way up, and hence why people feel a bit short of breath, or they start to get a bit agitated. So the best, I normally say for people to, when they feel that coming, because you've been aware of it before it reaches your lungs and if it affects your breathing, is to take a deep breath in and then just breathe out really slowly. Because it will come like a wave. So you can imagine you're a bit like a surfer So you have to ride that wave, and then once you're on the wave, then it just it'll pass. And actually, once you go over it, then after that, then most of the time it's fine. And we've had people here who've had traumatic experiences from when they were kids from swimming and being in water. And they both lasted the whole session. They both really enjoyed it, and they did both turn the lights off as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, some people obviously just leave the lids open as well, or partially open. It's up to
Most
them.
definitely, and I like that expression you used, ride the wave, which I think is it's true. I mean, I think the important thing is not to get caught up in the fact that the time element as well, because actually time goes by a lot faster than you think. Again, if you're new to floating, you have this idea, 60 minutes, or am I going to be able to last that long? The time just goes very quickly. Our clients come out and they say, was that really an hour? And we have to say, no, 100% it really was an hour. So again, at no point are you in a position where you can't leave the float pod if you wanted to. However, having said that, it's very rare that our clients want to leave. In fact, they repeat often that could they stay a little longer.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring that to your attention as well, because you do have the choice to come out of the pod if you want to. But it's really important for those of you who have not floated before. Time can escape you.
Yeah. It tends to go faster if you're enjoying something a lot more. And it is very interesting because you said you could come out whenever you wanted to. There's no saying, okay, well after 20 minutes you think, oh, okay, well, you weren't feeling like you wanted to carry on. You don't have to.
It's like dipping your toe into the water. You take that first initial step, and after that, it gets easier. And also, we love to say, leave the pod lid open if you wish, just for the first 10 minutes. And then I have to say, what would you say, about 95% of the time? People generally say, oh, I closed the lid.
I'd say about 95% of the time. And it's interesting because you said about, like, people could essentially, if they didn't want to, they could get out whenever they wanted, but they don't. They think, okay, once they get into it, they pretty much stay in for the whole hour. It's very, very rare that somebody will come out slightly early, or they do, maybe for 5 or 10 minutes, but pretty much 99% of the time, they'll stay in.
And the people who do come out, I think that's just because they have got what they wanted out of the session, and they might be creeping towards doing the full hour. So again, everybody's different. It's not necessary that you think, oh, I got to be in there 60 minutes. You could just end up doing about 45 or 50 minutes. But I have to say, people do the full hour. People do the full hour, but there's no problem if you did pop out a little bit earlier, because it is a new environment, and it can, on the odd occasion, take a bit of getting used to.
Yeah. But I think it's good that people can have a good idea in terms of the claustrophobia side of things, and actually it's something that shouldn't put you off. Come to float. Our pods are usually like the biggest pods on the market, and used all over the world. So they've got fantastic product. They're really big, luxurious, and so it's one of those things. So if you have any obviously questions or queries, drop us an email, or you can give us a call on our landline, which will be in the post as well. So kind of get in contact with us if you're, say, like Tim said, if you want to come and have a look and check out the tanks, then come on in, and then we'll go through everything with you. And sometimes it's better to have a look first, like later this morning, before then going to book in, and then float. It's usually the idea is more scary than once you actually do it.
Yeah. So on that note, ride the wave, and just give us a call or send us an email if you do have any queries.
Cool. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon.
Thanks, bye.